From the high desert southwest and an indiscreet shave den located in the deep recesses of Ouch's basement, broadcasting north from McMurdo Sound to Ice Station Zebra and east and west across all time zones to our members throughout the world, this is Badger and Blade Radio. Hello, Badger and Blade, and welcome to B&B Radio. And good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be on this big blue marble we call home. We are airing this show just a tad early this time around as we have some major announcements and also news and events around BadgerandBlade.com, of which we have a whole bunch of, our mail call section, and our exclusive vendor interview with West Coast Shaving. So sit back, relax, and we'll be back to start the show right after this.
This is Bacchus Aftershave, the Conqueror. Bacchus, created by the Romans in order to make their enemy irresistible to women. Because when a man is irresistible, he has better things to do with his time than fight. Bacchus, the Romans conquered their empire with it. Go out and conquer yours.
Welcome back to B&B Radio, and before we get the show started, we have a special announcement from Jim, the moderator team here at BadgerandBlade.com. B&B is moving, so we have some good news and some bad news. On Monday, February 6, 2017, there's going to be a lot of changes here at BadgerandBlade.com. Our site is going to switch over from the comfortable, familiar vBulletin forum software to the more robust and user-friendly forum software from Zenforo. Our crack development team is doing its level best to keep the look, the feel, the style of the site very close to what you see now, so the change is not as jarring as it could be. Nevertheless, there are going to be changes. Buttons and menus will be in different locations. The process of posting, replying, private messaging, etc. will feel different initially, but we will adapt. After all, we are resilient, tool-using humans. The good news is that B&B, with the guts of Zenforo, will become a more robust environment for us to talk about shaving, pens, cooking, you name it. That means that the periodic hiccups we see when connecting or refreshing should be remedied. The software we've used when the site was just a couple of hundred guys talking about trading gear just isn't well suited to when the membership numbers are in the tens of thousands overall, with a few thousand online together at one time. We fully expect this to improve your user experience. In addition, and in time, when more and more guys log on here via mobile devices, Zenforo is built for you. And you may not need helper applications like Tapatalk to access the site from your phone. We haven't even gotten into the enhancements like vastly superior ability to search the site, image drag and drop into posts, two-step verification for account and security. We think you'll really like the improvements. Take a look at the Zenforo site itself for an exhaustive description of all the stuff the software can do. Change is not easy, but we will get through this, just like we did when our Happy Badger logo turned far more serious. Rest easy in the thought that all of the moderators and stewards of the site are here to help you out with questions. We will also have dedicated threads for you to report bugs and let us know what is working and what is not. In the meantime, sit back and enjoy the ride. You can expect Badger and Blade to be down for 3 to 6 hours and may be offline for shorter intervals periodically, starting once again on Monday, February 6, 2017. Please check our social media pages such as Facebook, Google+, for status updates. Thank you for being members of BadgerandBlade.com, and this is from the B&B team. We'll be back right after this.
Once I hurt my knee trying to make a tackle that a lot of people thought I shouldn't have been trying to make. Well, let me tell you, if you put that uniform on, you're supposed to be a football player, and you've got to be ready to go all the way. That's just the way I am. I guess that's why I use Brute. I like the smell. I like the way it works, the way it lasts.
Brute by Fabergé. After the game, after anything, Brute goes all the way.
If you're not going to go all the way, man, why go at all?
And now for some news and events around BadgerandBlade.com. The Clubhouse Super Bowl PIF is just wrapping up and will end on Tuesday, the 7th of February. So if you'd like to get involved, please do so while you can. And check all this out and see if you can become a winner over in the Clubhouse Forum. We'd like to welcome Real Pretend Psychic, David, Troy, and Matt Who. Who? Matt. Matt Who? Matt. Boy, it's a what's on first type of thing. As brand new stewards to BadgerandBlade.com. David will be in the Clubhouse, Troy in the Beard and Mustache section, and Matt will be over in the Shaving Cream. So please stop by and thank these folks for stepping up to become stewards on BadgerandBlade.com. Lurkers, now is a great time to join Badger and Blade, and new members, please make sure to go and check in at the Shave Clinic and Newbie Check-In, as well as join the Hall of Fame and introduce yourself. In the Safety Razor Forum, Keen Dog and I'm a Table will be showcasing shovel heads as the Safety Razor of the month for February with discussions and photos of your treasures. Make sure you join the discussion, and you can see some of the pictures right here of the razors they're talking about. Gong Hei Fat Choi. Happy Chinese New Year. It is the year of the rooster. Sam, Rock Viper, celebrates, as do many in the Toronto area as well as around the world, with Hai Gao, Su Mai, both custard buns and coconut buns as dessert. Plus, I really think Sam just wanted to throw me off to see if I could pronounce these things. So, for those of you that celebrate, Happy Chinese New Year. In the Aftershaves Forum, there's a great piff going on offered by Bart. It is a continental U.S. only. However, it includes some full-size bottles of favorites, a bit of oud, and some panade samples. This will be going on through February 10th, so now is your chance to win, so head on over to the Aftershave Forum. You can also go to the Straight Razor forums, including the Straight Razor Shave Clinic, the Straight Razor Talk, Strops, Honing, Restorations, and How-Tos. Join your stewards Alpster and Decado 111. Ask the gents for assistance, banter, and everything you need to know about straight razors if you plan on jumping in the deep end. We'd also like to remind everybody that with all the acquisitions that we do on a daily basis, there is a holiday right around the corner. That's right, Valentine's Day is next Tuesday. So don't forget the love of your life, something nice, and tell them how you feel. And maybe even thank them for supporting your hobby, which could lead to you being allowed to buy more stuff. Also, as a side note, we have something very special planned for the show on the 20th of February. This episode will be dedicated to the lady shavers here on Badger and Blade, and a special member spotlight with Rebecca, Badger Babe, and our very own field reporter and Mrs. Claus, Sharon, will be conducting the interview, so you'll definitely want to turn in for that. Also in the darkroom, the February photo contest is graffiti. This now runs through the 19th, and voting will be from the 20th to 26th, so break out those cameras, go find some graffiti, and see if you can win. Take a shot. Complete rules are in the darkroom forum. Over in the Sorps forum, we have been having the Mitchell's Wolfat versus Hasslinger shootout, and it ended up as a tie, as I found out because of me, because I did not want to pick one over the other. But in fairness, after thinking about it, I have to lean towards Mitchell's Wolfat for overall performance, post-face feel, and everything else. So there you have it. In the small shootout that we had, Mitchell's Wolfat was the winner. Also, the Williams 3017 challenge is in full swing. Now, for those of you that did not know what 3017 is, that basically means that you have enough soap to last you until 3017. So this was designed to where you take a puck of Williams, you can use it au natural, as they say, or you can grate it up, put your favorite aftershave or EDT, let it do its magic, and then once it hardens up, we promise that you shave with this until you run out. So that's in full swing. We think that it's going to last just under a month, but for some folks it could be more or it could be less. So please check that out over in the Shave Soap forum. Also, the official B&B Bingo game is also going to be in the Soaps forum, and that will be starting Monday, the 13th. Please take a look at the video right after this section to find out more. You can also look for the thread to sign up. And also make sure you check out the Buy, Sell, Trade, and Marketplace for great deals, and make sure you understand all the rules and requirements for board posting. And also, we have a fantastic amount of supporting vendors here on BadgerandBlade.com, so please make sure you check out their forum as well. That's it for news and events. We'll be right back after these messages. We'd like to thank everybody for your continued listenership here at Badger and Blade Radio, and we hope that you're enjoying the show so far. Now we're going to go ahead and open up our mailbag. This comes from Dagwoods, Josh. Everyone here at B&B has gotten involved in traditional wet shaving for various reasons. But for many of us here, it has taken on a much different role in our lives than originally intended. Take me, for example. I got into wet shaving because the she who must be obeyed does not like facial hair at all. She despises it. So I figured I would shave in a manner that was better for my skin than the canned goop and cartridge razors readily available at big box stores. It's since evolved from this into a hobby all of its own. Thanks to the combination of my compulsive need to acquire things, as well as the wonderful supportive community group here at Badger and Blade, I couldn't have envisioned this when starting out. It is such a niche hobby, and one that not very few people realize is out there. Josh also asked, how did everyone get involved in this wonderful hobby? How has it changed from why you originally started traditional wet shaving? For those of you that are listening to this, if you'd like to respond in next episode's mailbag, we will go ahead and get those responses here on the show. From C. Vargo, Chad. Chad answers Josh by saying, my reason is very similar to you. I grew a beard for a while, did the mutton chops, and did the goatee. My wife did not like kissing me with a beard, and she said it did not look good on me. A friend at work actually used a double-edged razor, but was never involved like we are here. I knew that if I was going to get to shave more regularly, I wanted a cheaper option. Ha ha ha. And I needed to find a solution of all that neck irritation. I would seriously push a Fusion cartridge about 3 or 4 months because of how expensive they were, and just left the thing in the shower. Looking back, it is really gross and probably why I had so much irritation. I finally started doing some Googling and found B&B, and instantly fell in love. My wife much prefers the clean-shaven look, and she even gets after me if I skip a day. I know she wishes that it didn't turn into a hobby like it has, but she reads on B&B occasionally. She has a double-edged razor and a Schick injector and a few soaps from Sterling, one from Soap Commander and the other from Barrister & Mann. She likes this style of shaving also. She now understands that B&B is different and actually asks about some of the journal regulars that I hang around with. Now, Chad says, my question to Dave, me, would be, who is the man behind the mic? Give us a little background on you. I personally love the interviews of other members and vendors, and yes, you and I talk off of B&B, but I'm sure others would love to hear a little bit about the man behind the mic. Well, Chad, thank you very much, and I'm not trying to push you off here, but we have something special planned in the next probably month or so, where I am going to be the steward spotlight. However, normally we have the questions pre-screened, but in this case, I'm going to take them rapid fire. So please keep a lookout for that, for when that interview will happen, and all those questions will be answered. Now, from Brent Dexter, my question for Dave are these. Dave, I've learned a lot about razors and soaps from your journal, partly due to your excellent commentary, but mostly the vast collection of soaps, razors, brushes, aftershaves, and fragrances. Have you A, thought about charging for admittance to see your majestic shave den, or B, added a Murphy bed so I can just move in? Well, Brent, I'm going to show some pictures here of my shave den, so to speak. I call it a shave closet because I was banned to the guest bathroom. It's a very small bathroom, but I've tried to make it look as much as possible like a little mini barber shop. Most people would look at it and say, oh, here's a hoarder. But take a look, see what you think. They aren't the greatest of pictures, but hopefully this will give you idea of what my shave closet looks like. So thanks again, Brent, for all the nice words. Certainly appreciate it once again. And from Smatta, Eric, our man of the hatchet shaver. I think we'd all like to know more about the real boss in the Skyside household, Ruger. For those of you who don't know that Ruger is a Siamese cat, and he, we think, is linked to Murphy. If you don't know who Murphy is the man that comes along and gives you nicks and cuts and irritation. Ruger has got his own small following over in the journal section, so if you'd like to read more on that, you can certainly do so. Thanks, Eric. Certainly appreciate that. And from Sean, Castronomer, what about all that space nerd stuff? Astronaut, astronomy, whatever. In the previous episode, I did say that I was going to show some of my NASA and astronaut-related gear, and so I'll show those pictures right now. I feel that I'm very lucky that I grew up during the Gemini and Apollo, as well as the space shuttle missions, and was also fortunate to see during the Cold War where the Soviet Union and NASA got together in the Apollo-Soyuz program. So the pictures that you're seeing are just a little tiny bit of the collection of some of the items I've had that are flown in space. as well as some autographs that I did get from the complete crew of the Apollo-Soyuz mission, as well as Alan Bean, Dick Gordon from Apollo 15, and Gene Cernan from the final Apollo mission to the moon. So that's it for our mail call section. We certainly appreciate you guys, and all of you folks out there. Please note that the mail call section usually opens up in a thread about a week prior to the upcoming show. So please feel free to make any comments, any question that you'd like, because we really want to make this almost a community radio type of thing. So after the break, we have a fantastic interview with West Coast Shaving. We'll be right back.
Today, the United States is engaged in a gigantic effort to send men to the moon. For this effort, Pillsbury has developed many special foods. Here is the first one to be made available to the public: Space Food Sticks. To meet the demands of a long space flight, Space Food Sticks had to be a compact, nutritious, high-energy food. That's why they make the perfect between-meal energy snack. Energy for hard play. Energy for hard work. Lasting energy to feel alive. If that sounds better than some of the things your family fills up on between meals, you should try Space Food Sticks for good nutrition and lasting energy in a chewy, tasty snack food. Chocolate, caramel, and peanut butter. About 44 calories. At your grocer's next to the instant breakfast section. Space Food Sticks, the energy snack from U.S. Aerospace Research and Pillsbury.
Welcome back to Badger and Blade Radio, everybody, your twice-monthly radio show about everything BadgerandBlade.com. In our vendor spotlight interview this episode, we are extremely happy to have West Coast Shaving. That should be a household name if you are a traditional wet shaver. We have John Kuntz, the founder of West Coast Shaving, and Aviv Shema, the CEO and current owner. Hello, gentlemen. How are you today?
Doing well. I'm doing well as well.
Well, we certainly
take over Aviv.
We certainly appreciate you guys being on the show today. John, this first question is for you. Tell us about the beginning of West Coast Shaving. What prompted you to start this, and finally, what prompted you to go ahead and sell it?
Yeah, I'd be happy to answer that. I guess the ultimate reason why this was started is that I didn't want to get in trouble with my wife, Christine. Those of you who have shopped at the store know her very well. I was sick of shaving. I used to beg her, not to shave on the weekends. And I just happened to be reading a blog. This is, 10, 11 years ago. And it wasn't even about wet shaving, it was about something else, but the author mentioned traditional wet shaving, and I thought, well, I've tried everything else, and it doesn't work for me, I'll try this. And just like everything else, I get super into researching everything about it because I want to find the best thing for me. And so I ended up finding out about Badger and Blade, and started researching there about wet shaving products and what I wanted to buy, and I found out that there were different types of blades, and they all perform differently. And so, in my curious nature, I said, I want to try all of these. But at the time, some of them you couldn't find in the U.S., or some of them you only could order in bulk.
Sure.
And I got this great idea. I said, what? And I didn't want to get in trouble because I didn't want to spend a couple $100 on blades and then throw away most of them. So I got this great idea. I was going to spend $200 on blades. I would keep a few for myself to try. Find out which ones I like the best, and then the rest of them I would just put in, what we called sample kits, like 5 blades each or 10 blades each, and posted them up for sale on Badger and Blade, and sold out real quickly. And I, wiped my hands. I said, "Awesome! I'm not in trouble with my wife, and I get to try my blades. Everything is good in the world." And then people started commenting, sending me private messages and saying, "Hey, do that again. That was cool." So I thought, okay, why not? And this is kind of fun, a fun hobby. I can help other people out. And did it again, and did it again, and did it again. And then after a while, I thought, maybe I can ask for a discount on these, on the blades, because I was just buying them retail.
Sure.
And I'm sure I was losing money for quite a while because I wasn't doing it. I mean, it wasn't a business idea. It was just a hobby, right? Helping out your friends online. Sounds a little weird, but that's what happened. And so I asked a couple vendors to give me a discount on the blades, and a few of them said yes. And then all of a sudden I made $1. I said, that's interesting. And then just kind of kept doing that over the next, I don't know, it must have been 2 years just selling blades. And, as quantities increased, we were able to buy more at discount, finally started able to buy wholesale. And then customers kept asking, I don't know if back in the day it was sold after when I kind of outgrew just selling on B&B, we threw it up on our personal blog at the time, just with some PayPal buttons, and just kind of organically grew that way. And then customers started asking for. They said, "Why don't you sell the razors?" I said, we don't want to sell razors. There's other places selling razors. We're doing just fine with blades. And then my wife Christine finally convinced me and said, "Hey, everybody's asking for razors. Let's sell razors." So we did, and then that's kind of when it took off. But I was a bit stubborn. I should have listened to her before then. But eventually got smart and did, and that's kind of how it formed. Well, and then just kept adding more and more products just as customers asked for them.
So basically, we all talk about the acquisition to sort of rabbit hole. So basically, you were kind of the general contractor that started the hole for the rest of us then.
There were other people helping out with that, but I certainly contributed.
Sure.
Yes.
And what was as I said earlier, what was the final decision, and from what I understand, today, or very close to today, is the 1 year anniversary of the purchase. So what was the onus behind selling the business?
It got to the point where, so Christine was managing, most of the day-to-day operations, and it just got to the point where we felt that we were not able to get the projects done that we wanted to. There's just a certain number of hours in a day, and we always felt like we were just maintaining. We weren't progressing. Mm-hmm. And so at that point, we thought, maybe it's time to let somebody else that has, more capabilities or a larger bandwidth to take it to the next level. And there's just sort of coincidence that we got a call from Aviv and team as we were kind of having those discussions just between two of us.
Well, that's that because I know that when the notice of the sale happened, everybody, I know there was a collective in the beginning. There was a collective gasp because you guys had become such a household name for most of us on Badger and Blade, and so that's why this is good, because this will put some of the people's different ideas to bed. And with that being said, and with it being the 1st year anniversary, Aviv, tell us a little bit about the new ownership, your visions for the future of West Coast Shaving, and John, your continued involvement with West Coast Shaving.
Okay, great. Yeah. So, John, I love that story, by the way. When we met John, that I love the story of you're scratching your own itch. You're trying to, you're solving your own problem, and people are asking you to build a business. So our vision now is not much different from what the vision was with John. We're just we're looking to add value and expertise to wet shaving. So value and expertise mean a lot of things. Value is compelling selection, innovative product. Expertise, customer service. We pride ourselves on customer service, content building, and building the shopping experience on the site. I see that as a piece of expertise. So we're trying to push forward in value and expertise. That's the main vision for the company, and John has really helped us in setting the tone for what is worth going after, what's not worth going after. What are the projects that they had in the pipeline in their idea bank and weren't able to make happen? So a couple of the things we've done, we just relaunched a new design for the website. We had a line of shaving soaps come out a couple months ago, and a line of shaving safety razors. We're working on a bunch more projects right now. But the main goal is really to continue to add new products, to really keep our ear to the ground, make sure we're understanding the customer and what he or she needs, and continue to serve the customer the way that they need, as West Coast Shaving. And so, yeah.
In previous conversations that you and I have had, Aviv, your background is in the retail space, is it not?
It is. My entire life, my entire family is in retail. So I grew up, actually, my parents, they started a brick and mortar retail store in the late 70s. They lived in the back of the store, is the truth. And so I grew up in a retail store. So I'm very, I love retail. I love every piece of retail. I love products. And it's in my blood, is the truth. And so, when I met John, we just knew that it was, a great fit. And besides for just the business in general, I think, and John can say if he feels the same way, I thought we had good chemistry just as different people, shared the same values, general, honesty amongst, between the two parties.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely. I would agree with that. Christine and I, it was a difficult conversation at first because this is our baby. We grew up from nothing, and even though we had talked about what the future held for us, it was very hard to look at somebody else as a potential person to be leading the next stage of the company. But when we met Aviv, we realized that he had the skills, the background, the desire to serve the customer. And some of those just core values were the same, and we thought, yeah, this is a great fit. And so I've talked to people in the past, and it never felt right. But when we started to talk to Aviv, it's like, yeah, this actually makes a lot of sense. This is what the company needs. This is what our customer needs going forward. Well,
and I think what happens is, it's one of those things where, on this side, what we see, as a customer is everything's been seamless because obviously it's been a year now, and unless it's brought up, you really don't know. And I think that's a testament to both of you guys because, as you know, being a business owner myself, whenever you make a major change, you always have to hold your collective breath. Because you're saying, okay, what is this going to do? What are the positives? What are the negatives? And from the consumer side, my side, the guy that's spending the money in your store, it's been very, very seamless. And you had mentioned earlier, and whoever wants to take this question, you had mentioned earlier that you've got the new line of safety razors and the soaps that you introduced. Can you expand on that a little bit and tell us a little bit about them?
Yeah, great. So there are two different paths we wanted to take with new products. And one is providing an excellent product at an excellent price point. And then the second one was creating new innovative products. So we're moving on both fronts. The first was a little bit faster for us to finish. So we launched 3 collections of safety razors, stainless steel in a matte finish, stainless steel with a matte black finish, matte silver, matte stainless steel finish was the first one, matte black finish is the second one, and a line of 4 wood handles. And for a total of 16 safety razors that we launched. And the price point falls between $21 and $25. $21 and $25, and the way we set it up also is that you could buy the handle without the head. So if you have it matches almost any head, the generic heads. So if you have like an Edwin Jagger or something similar, you can just buy the handle, use the exact same head, and then you have like a whole new safety razor. That was the idea here was a few things, add a little bit of design aspect in the black and the wood. Price point was key. We wanted to make sure that we would be able to get it at an affordable price to the customer. We're starting to incorporate the razors into different kits. We're trying to bring the overall kit price down so that you can get a starter kit at, we're trying to get under $40, maybe even less. We have some shaving brushes actually that are on the way in that will help us bring that cost down. So we believe that wet shaving, traditional wet shaving, is a great way to shave. And we want people to spread the love. So sometimes it's a little bit harder when the price point is when you have to spend $100 to get started. So the first goal was good product, great price point, a little bit of design, and that's what we try to do with the safety razors and also with the shave soaps. So the shave soaps, in a traditional sense, we have a little bit of one that was a little different. So we call it campfire, which is smells almost like a bourbon.
Yeah, I have that one.
Scotch, an aged Scotch. Oh, you do?
Yes, I do.
And we looked maybe at 7 different soap manufacturers before we found a soap that we actually liked. So I think the soap lathers very well. It's a great soap. We put it in a metal tin. So we're really happy with that product. But also, again, the idea is price point. It's at $13, 4 ounces, basic sense. Again, to get people, if you want to get your foot in the door, or if you want just another soap, here's a great way to get those products at a good price. That was the first step.
Well, I think the one thing that really sticks out in my mind, I've been traditional shaving for the better part of 35 years or so, and got out of it, of course, and went the standard route to electrics, to carts, to shave goop, and got back into it. And West Coast Shaving was obviously the first retailer that came up for me. And it was quite daunting in the beginning when you look, do I want to spend $150 on a razor, if I don't like it? And I think what you're doing with the kit prices and everything else for the brand new shaver is you're allowing them to dip their toes in the lake before they get to the point where the hole drags them in, and we're spending, like at this point, my wife laughs at me because I'll spend $300 on a straight razor and won't even blink an eye anymore. And so I think that this is a great way to start this hobby and this obsession that most people on Badger and Blade realize that it is, because for years and years and years, we didn't take care of ourselves. We used to mock our own spouses saying, come on, honey, we got to get to this show. You've been in there an hour getting ready. And now, at least in my case, my wife's the one saying, are we going to leave, or are you just going to continue to do what you're doing? So it's really come full circle. And with that being said, John, with your experience in this, can you speak to the head alignment and differences in manufacturing for the newer breed of safety razors? Because obviously there's tolerances involved and everything else. So can you speak on that a little bit?
I wish I could speak a little bit more about it. I actually don't have as much information as I would like on some of the newer ones. I don't know, Aviv, do you have any more information? I should have done some more research on that.
That's okay.
Apologies.
We've been working on our side, just looking at different manufacturing techniques and trying to figure out how we can make a better safety razor head. So we're working now on a CNC machined, U.S. made safety razor, and we've been collaborating with Brian from Charcoal Goods. Mm-hmm. And so we should have something in the next, maybe, I would say 2 months for sale. We're doing a collection of 5 handles and just one head. So the head really, we found 2 different machine shops. And we had to find 2 different machine shops because the machining for the head, such high tolerance to get it perfect, that the machine shop that is equipped for machining the head is not the same type of machine shop that was equipped for machining the handle.
Sure. So
we're going to be working with one machine shop for the head, one machine shop for the handle, and Brian's going to be QCing everything. But very interesting, because the safety razors that we're making now, they're cast like a zinc alloy, mm-hmm. What you see in most of the safety razors, and it's not perfect. There's a lot of mistakes in the head alignment. Not a lot of mistakes, but it's not perfect.
Sure.
Sometimes you can see the blade gap is not perfect, the alignment is not perfect, and so we're trying to but we're also selling it for $5 a head.
Sure.
So it's a different world, and these razors that we're working with Charcoal Goods, they're probably going to be in the $150 to $180 range just because of our manufacturing costs here in the United States.
Well, I think what happens also is that as people get more and more experienced in traditional shaving, whether that be with a safety razor, a single edge razor, or in my case a straight razor, their pickiness, for lack of a better term, gets better. And what you're saying and what you're doing is you're refining it. So those people that are demanding those tolerances and demanding that level of perfection will be able to get it, which is nice, because it's just giving more and more options for the wet shaver.
I think it's interesting that manufacturers are starting to pay attention to this too. I think when a lot of the modern safety razors started coming out, everybody just kind of picked one as an example and copied it.
Sure.
And there really there's a lot of differences in how a razor performs and how well it performs for a specific individual that are related to that head geometry. Mm-hmm. And so having a wider variety of options is good for the customer at the end of the day.
Oh, absolutely. And that leads me into my next thing. Obviously, John, when you founded West Coast Shaving, there was a couple of players in the marketplace, aside from the larger manufacturers. And what are your thoughts now? Because obviously you've got artisans coming out of the woodwork with some extremely fine products. And what would be your thoughts on vegan versus tallow soaps and artisan versus the major manufacturers?
Well, that's a big question. Yeah, certainly at the beginning, it was a struggle to find new vendors. A lot of these were mom and pop stores that nobody ever heard of, most of them overseas, and many of them they don't even have a web presence. So that's something I think we did really well early on, was be able to track them down. Certainly today, that's not a problem. There's new artisans popping up every day. As far as Aviva's seen that. It's practically every day we'd get a new soap in the mail, or a new cream in the mail, or a new razor. So they were the opposite. They were searching out in the stores. Tallow versus vegan, that one surprised me. I didn't think that vegan soaps would be able to catch up the performance on tallow, but certainly that's not the case anymore. At least for what I've seen and what I've heard. There's probably all sorts of differences of opinion on that, though. I'm sure that would be a long thread in B&B. But I think it's great that there's high-performing options of both varieties.
Well, I think what also, because when I started, you had boar brushes, then you had badger brushes, and now you have synthetic. So, regardless of what people think about boar or badger brushes, if they'd rather go synthetic, or if they'd rather not use a soap that uses, animal tallow, and they want to go vegan, I one of the manufacturers, which I won't mention here, an Italian soap maker, is almost 100% vegan, and I would put that soap up against many of the major tallow manufacturers as far as overall performance. So what's neat about this lifestyle, I mean, we've been calling it a hobby, but about this lifestyle is that the manufacturers, the retailers such as yourselves, are stepping up to the plate saying, okay, you want this product and you want this quality? All right, challenge accepted. We're going to do this. And everybody goes home in a Ferrari, with as far as products and so forth. Now, as far as one thing I did notice, Aviv, is obviously the brand new website. What was the onus behind basically revamping the website?
So what we're trying to do is we're trying to improve the on-site shopping experience. And step one was just wanted to make it a little bit cleaner, I guess. It was the first initiative. But the ultimate goal is, so we have a retail store in Chino. And when you walk in the retail store, if you're new, if you're an expert, the customer service can help you find what you need. They'll point out things that they like. They'll tell you the story behind the products. But that experience is lost online, because you get to, let's say, our safety razor page. I think we have 130 safety razors. And if you don't know what you're looking for, you can get lost. Mm-hmm. You will get lost. So the next step is, how do we embed the expertise into the customer shopping experience, specifically on our different category pages. So if someone gets the safety razor page, how do we build a safety razor page that is good for a newbie, is good for an expert, is good for someone that wants to learn more, someone that wants to get recommendations? That's something we've been struggling with. We're trying to, how do we replicate the in-store experience that we have in our physical store to the online experience that we have? And step one was redoing the website. I mean, it's very superficial, the changes. It's just color scheme, spacing, photography. The overall structure of the website is exactly the same. But step one, giving a little bit of breathing room is how we thought of it on the site. And step two is now, how do we individually work on each category page, saying, okay, what's the best way to navigate a shopper through this page? How do we teach them, recommend to them, or just let them work on their own? Whatever the person that needs how can we meet their needs on the page? It's something. It's not an easy answer. At least for us, it's not. But we're struggling with it, and we're trying to make it happen.
Well, I think that because obviously being a steward on Badger and Blade, we kind of keep our ear to the screen, for lack of a better term, on how people are responding to it, and the responses that I've seen have been just fantastic. Not that the old website was hard to navigate, because there are some websites with some of our vendors and manufacturers and other folks that you want to pull your eyeball out of your socket, where this one is very intuitive, at least that I found, and it's nice to have it categorized, and the breadth of product that you have is what I like. And that leads me to my next question, whoever wants to take it, is there anything, we spoke of the new safety razors, the soaps, are there any types of brands or other projects that you're working on that the members of Badger and Blade can look forward to down the line?
Maybe I'll take this one, John.
Yeah, go for it.
So I mentioned the collaboration we're doing with Charcoal Goods for the U.S.-made CNC machine safety razors. We did a custom batch of brushes with Chris from Brushworks. So he makes these. I don't know if you've seen his stuff, but it's like he buys these acrylic and wood combo pieces, blanks he calls them. They're like little squares, and he works it down into a shaving brush, and then he sources knots, and it's beautiful stuff. It's really unique. So we just did a big batch, not such a big batch, but a batch of brushes that we had him custom make for us. It's going to go live on the site probably in a day or two. Oh, great. We're working on. We have a batch of shaving brushes that are coming in. So we have some synthetics, we have some pure Badgers, some silver tipped. They're all coming in maybe in another month, something like that. A total of 9 brushes. We're working with an artisan soap maker in the United States for some more obscure scents that to move away a little bit from the more, what we've already done. So scents that have 4 or 5 different smells in it. It's been a lot of fun. It's hard to choose. One thing that's hard to do is hard to name the soaps. Incredibly hard to say this reminds me of X, and that's why I'm going to name this soap.
Sure.
So we're doing that. And what else? We have a batch of safety razors where we have like two-tone. They're two-tone razors, so it's black and gold. It's like a navy and gunmetal. It's we have like a cream and brick red, all these different combinations that it's the same safety razor, one of the safety razors that we have in our line now that we launched a couple months ago, but we're doing it in cool different color combinations, and that should be also maybe 2 months down the road.
Well, I think
pretty much in the pipeline right now. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, that I know that for those of us that are so much into the hobby that we, in fact, what I said this on a previous show, that you talk about the brush AD, the razor AD, and everything else, and having different rabbit holes to jump into. And to me, what happened is it just became one big black hole, and I'm gravitated to it. So I'm sure that there are a lot of people that will be listening to this interview that will be, all of a sudden they're going to be getting closer and closer to the screen, and their mouths will start drooling a little bit more with these upcoming products. Now, one question I know that all the Badger and Blade members are asking, and I don't know where it's at in this, and I don't want to put neither one of you on the spot, but I know that they're going to ask this question. Is there plans or is there possibilities of the Badger and Blade essential brush that, John, you have made such, people, if you notice in the auctions, one of those brushes comes up for sale, and I mean it's like ravaging lions trying to get to it. So are there discussions or possibilities that could become another thing back into West Coast shaving?
Yeah, absolutely. We would love to do it, and I think Nick from Badger and Blade, and we've just had a little bit of time coordinating, but we're definitely going to make it happen. It's something that goes to a couple years back with West Coast shaving. It's definitely something that we want to do.
Well, and I have to compliment John. John, you've always been so active on the site, and I think Badger and Blade, as you know, if you've been a member, obviously for as long as you have, it's different than most other websites, most other blogs, most other forums, because it's almost a family. And when the members see, Badger and Blade on a brush or a shave mug or whatever the case may be, there's some ownership that the membership also takes with that. And I think that's where the success of West Coast Shaving and Badger and Blade have been so well melded. Would you agree with that, John?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as I said when I first started out, that's where it started.
Sure.
So the partnership, that was my wet shaving family, or still is.
Right.
Admittedly, taking a bit of a break, but I got a lot of really good friends there. I still stay in touch with a lot of people. I've flown around the country visiting people.
Sure.
So it's absolutely extended family, and it makes a lot of sense that the two, West Coast Shaving and Badger and Blade, continue to work together.
Now, John, when did you join? You joined pretty early on, didn't you?
I don't know exactly, but I believe it was 2005.
Right. So you've got to be just sitting back, because I don't know if you heard the interview a couple weeks back with Mike Antique Hoosier, who was in the second group of the original members. And when he looks back at it and knowing that we've got close to 78,000 members now, he just shakes his head and he goes, we've gone from a group of guys that secretly talked about their obsession with shaving to now anything you want to know about coffee, anything you want to know about shaving, outdoor activities. So it's like a one-stop shop as far as the forum. And the one thing that I think that sets Badger and Blade apart, and the quality of the vendors that we have, is that the decorum and the gentlemanly behavior is far and above, other than anything I've seen in other websites, not just shaving websites, but forums in general. And with that being said, and I'll let you guys each take a turn at this if you'd like, is there anything you'd like to say to the members of Badger and Blade before we wrap up?
Yeah, I guess I'll start. Like I said, Badger and Blade's been an extended family to me. I've made a lot of good friends there. I continue to have a lot of good friends there, and so it's the genesis of where West Coast Shaving started, and West Coast Shaving wouldn't be what it is today without the members there. I always viewed the growth of the company as a partnership with the wet shaving community. It was never, about trying to make the company bigger. It was always about serving the customers, and honestly, I mean, it was my hobby, so I always treated it as a hobby. These are my friends, so I was going to take care of them like they were my friends. So, yeah, just a big thank you, and I look forward to getting more involved again, like I was saying old, but like the old days when I was a bit more active there. So, yeah, thanks.
Great. Aviv?
Yeah, and kind of writing off of what John said, we want to continue to do a great job, and if anyone out there has any recommendations for us, like what we could be doing better, what you think we're not doing a good job at, or even products you think we should be selling, we would love to hear, and we would love to know. We wanna do the best job that we can, and feedback is great. You know, I posted on Badger and Blade a couple of days before we launched the new site, asking if a couple people could just scour the new site. I put up the link to it, and we had some great feedback. People just telling us, here's a bug. We were able to clean those things up before we launched it. It's great. That was excellent for us. But just in the more general sense, if there's anything that you guys think that we could be doing better, should be doing better, please let us know.
Well, and I think that you will both agree that Badger and Blade members have zero problems giving feedback on what they want. Excuse me. And for those members that are listening, Aviv and I have talked, and I think Aviv will probably post a small thread. So, what West Coast Shaving and that partnership with us, with Badger and Blade and the members, they want to know what they could be doing better. What products would you like to see them carry and sell? And what are some of the main interests that you have outside of traditional shaving? And you can post that on their vendor when that thread opens up. Well, gentlemen, this has absolutely been fantastic. Being a customer, John, of yours for a long time, and now Aviv is yours. There's a special place, I think, in all the members' hearts for West Coast Shaving, because really West Coast Shaving, Badger and Blade, I mean, it's such a good partnership that we appreciate it. And I want to really take this time to thank you both for taking time out of your day, because I know we got one gentleman on the far East Coast and somebody on the West Coast, and me kind of right in the middle. And it's appreciated each and every time we do these interviews, that you guys take time to speak to our members. And I think what it does is it makes the members feel closer to you, not only as a retailer, but you guys are members of Badger and Blade, just like the rest of us. So I wanted to really thank you guys for that.
Yeah, appreciate that, and I know I will pass it along to Christine too, because I know she's as much or bigger part of West Coast Shaving, the history of it. So I've got to get that plug in there.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you for the sentiment.
Well, and also one thing I do have to say, John, and I forgot, I totally forgot about this until you mentioned Christine, is that the Christmas doodles on the packaging. I forgot totally about that. And for those of you that don't know, that are listening, anybody who has purchased from West Coast Shaving during the Christmas time can either request. At the time, we could request, or sometimes you'd get a package in the mail, and there would be Mr. Bingle, or there'd be a reindeer, or there'd be a Santa Claus, or a Merry Christmas. And I think that what that did, John, is that added such a neat thing, because we knew it was hand-drawn, that it was a doodle. And I wanted to mention that as well, because that was just such a great thing.
That's a bit of a treasure hunt. I mean, that goes back years.
Yeah.
Kind of on and off, but there at one point there's a thread on Badger and Blade with kind of a ongoing documentation of all of the doodles and sketches over the years.
Yeah, exactly. Well, once again, gentlemen, Aviv, we wish you the absolute best of luck. Through this interview, we know that West Coast Shaving is going to succeed like it has always. And John, it'll be nice for you to take a little bit of a relaxation thing, because I know that owning a business and running a business can make gray hairs pop out almost all the time. So once again, gentlemen, thank you so much for doing this interview with Badger and Blade Radio, and we're looking so forward to seeing all the new stuff that's coming along.
Absolutely. Thanks for inviting me. Thank you.
Once again, we'd like to thank Aviv and John from West Coast Shaving for that fantastic vendor spotlight interview. And don't forget, as they said during the interview, they will be posting some items in their vendor forum, asking for your feedback, things you'd like to see them carry, things they're doing right, things they're doing wrong. They have been a wonderful supporting vendor here on BadgerandBlade.com, and they want your input. That brings another episode of Badger and Blade Radio to a close, and as always, we'd like to thank the moderators and the stewards for all the hard work they do each and every day, to the administrators and owners for bringing us this wonderful website, and most importantly, to you, the members of Badger and Blade. You are the lifeblood of this website. We'd also like to thank you in advance for your patience during this transition to the new software. We think it's going to be a fantastic thing for everybody involved, and don't forget, as mentioned earlier, there will be specific threads in the site feedback forum to air any questions that you may have, any bugs that you're having, and don't forget that you can always reach out to the moderator team. I've been your host, Skyside, and we hope you'll join us on the next episode of Badger and Blade Radio. Take care.